I'm sure you've seen enough sponsor spots from other YouTubers boasting about their sponsors' VPN services' ability to protect your privacy. The services themselves flaunt that notion. NordVPN's homepage is almost exclusively about privacy. Get secure and private access to the internet. Protect all of your devices. They aren't alone either. Surfshark equally claims a whole slew of privacy benefits by using their service. The thing is though, VPN services don't do all that much to protect your privacy. They almost always provide some kind of privacy shield service on top, but I'll come back to that later. At a base level, a VPN service does very little to protect your privacy. A VPN, or a virtual private network, acts as a secure tunnel for all the data leaving your machine. Instead of it going to your ISP, your internet service provider, and then straight to whatever website you're visiting, a VPN will route all of your traffic to their servers first, and then it will go out to whatever site you were looking for. Normally you can change where that endpoint is. They'll often have servers all around the world for you to choose from. So let's take a look at what these services claim to protect you from. Surfshark has a handy page where they explain the major threats on public Wi-Fi networks. That includes man-in-the-middle attacks, evil twin attacks, cookie theft, computer worms, and Wi-Fi pineapples. The data that they say is at risk includes credit card and bank account details, social media passwords, email login credentials, and any other personal information you input. Quite broad there, Surfshark. Of course, they say that by using their service, you can prevent all of this disaster. This sort of language is designed to sound realistic and frighten you into believing that any of this is actually possible. Just to eschew any worries, let's go through each of these briefly. Man-in-the-middle attacks do exist, but with the widespread introduction of SSL, the little padlock in the address bar you get by going to an HTTPS site with an SSL or Secure Sockets Layer certificate, all of your traffic to that site, including passwords, tokens, and data, is encrypted and secured. When you go to log into YouTube, the whole transaction from you putting in your password to YouTube sending you a session token back, a cookie, is encrypted, and while someone eavesdropping on the same network as you could get a copy of that data, they couldn't access it or use it because it's encrypted. As for evil twin attacks, they are also thwarted by SSL and modern browsers. If anything in the chain doesn't add up, your browser will make it very clear to you that you shouldn't trust your connection to that site. If you decide to continue past the warnings anyway, then maybe a VPN would help, but honestly, if a fictional attacker has gone to the effort of setting up a fake Wi-Fi hotspot and properly intercepting the data, they'll probably just make a fake version of the website that you were looking for, like Google, and steal your credentials directly from there, and nothing can stop that but you. The next is cookie theft. Specifically, they claim that attackers can post on your social media. No. They can't. If they have direct access to your machine, like Linus experienced when his channel was hacked with an infected zip file that was downloaded onto a machine with access to his channel, then yes, session hijacking is possible. But over Wi-Fi? No, because again, encrypted. Next, computer worms. This is a beautiful piece of manipulation. Calling it a computer worm is a purposely retro term that invokes images of those 80s and 90s films like Hackers that talk about worms and viruses. Surfshark is apparently talking about malware that doesn't need you to download anything to infect your computer. I have no idea how a VPN is meant to protect you from that. Unless they're talking about the additional ad blocker privacy shield type feature, a VPN itself wouldn't stop a site from downloading an infected payload as part of the website, or something like the WannaCry malware that made use of a vulnerability in the SMB file sharing protocol to execute its virus payload without any user input. And lastly, Wi-Fi pineapples. This is pretty much the same as the whole evil twin attacks and man-in-the-middle attacks. Again, your data is already encrypted before it even leaves your web browser, let alone your machine, so generally speaking, you're all good. The only privacy benefit that VPNs can legitimately claim to offer is hiding what sites you visit from your ISP, your internet service provider. If you are with, let's say, BT, British Telecom, there's a very good chance that BT records every site you access and sells that data to advertisers and anyone who wants to buy it. A VPN provider can hide all of that data, since all BT will see is you exclusively talking to that VPN provider. The only trick there is that all you've done is move who sees that data to a smaller, less verifiable company. They all claim to not keep any logs, although generally speaking, I prefer to trust the ones who have been challenged in US courts and weren't able to provide any information. Private internet access meets that bar. Most other services have hired external auditors to prove they don't, and while I have no reason to doubt them at all, it is still a slightly lower bar to meet. The other, of course, obvious advantage is with piracy and things like torrenting. Especially in the US, I know that it's fairly common for there to be sort of warnings or even outright cancellations of your service if you are caught downloading, file shared media, let's say, and so that is an advantage. Now, I mentioned the additional Privacy Shield type features that they often include as part of your membership. These are good, although most of the benefits that you get can be had from a secure DNS service like Cloudflare's 1.1.1.1, a Pi-hole for DNS blocking, and an ad blocker in your web browser like uBlock Origin. Of course, having all of those features rolled into one service that also lets you change what your public IP address shows up as is more convenient than setting up all of that separately. But you should know that all of those features aren't special or unique to VPN providers, and you can get all of those features for free with an hour or two of setup. Of course, there are legitimate benefits to using a VPN, like spoofing geolocation. Most sites, including locally for that matter, determine what country you are in based on your IP address. These addresses are sort of effectively divided between countries, and you can basically look up in a big list to work out where an IP address is meant to be from. A VPN service lets you change what your public IP address shows up as, therefore allowing you to trick sites into thinking that you're in Rome when you're really in Rhode Island. Most people say that this is good for streaming services like Netflix that like to geo-lock certain bits of content, mostly due to licensing restrictions. And sure, sometimes that might work, but most sites have pretty strict policies with VPNs in general, so you might be disappointed to find out that your VPN of choice doesn't work with your streaming service that you wanted to use. Something that can work a lot better is for booking things like hotels, flights, and car rentals. Strangely, you might find that booking those things are cheaper if you happen to be booking from certain regions, and that's something that a VPN can definitely help you with. In short then, VPN providers are mostly lying when they say that you're at risk of losing your login or banking details online, or that their service does pretty much anything to protect your privacy. Most people really don't need a VPN. It is convenient to have the geolocation and ad blocker features for sure, but your parents shouldn't feel afraid to use a Starbucks Wi-Fi hotspot for fear of a hacker stealing all their money. The whole see what sites you visit thing can be fixed with a personal VPN that you set up using, say, a Raspberry Pi from home and WireGuard. Let me know if you want to see that. That's something you want to see a video on in the comments. And you can also add things like a Pi-hole for DNS blocking and even use Cloudflare. So basically set up your own VPN service running from your home network. If that's something you'd like to see, let me know in the comments down below. With that said, that is my take on VPNs, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments as well. I do actually have a couple of VPN links in the description, including private internet access, so if you do want to pick one up, then feel free, and that does support me if you fancy it. But like I said, the vast majority of people probably don't need one. Anyway, that is kind of it for this video. If you want to see more videos, possibly not like this one, possibly, maybe, hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification icon. There's plenty of other videos on the end cards you can check out. And yeah, that's kind of it. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next video.